What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we are kicking off a brand new video series where we are going to build an AI-powered resume screener with feedback. This is a project I am super excited about because it's a great way to learn Python, Flask, and deep dive into the world of AI and ML. Over the next few videos, we'll take this idea from concept to a working application. I am learning a lot as I go, and I hope you do too. This is part 1 of our project. The main focus of this is to handle text data. To start, let's get our project structure set up and build this simple app that will be the foundation for everything else. Alright, this is our project structure. I have a app.py file, a template folder, an index.html file, which will be the front end for this application, and a requirement.txt file. For this project, we need Flask libraries, PyPDF2, and Python DOCX. If you have seen my previous videos, you probably know I usually start by building the backend first. But for this project, I'm going to switch things up a bit. We'll begin with the front end, a simple HTML form, and then we move on to building the backend. Alright, let's create our HTML form. And this is going to be the structure of our HTML form. We have a title, a body. Let's create a form inside the body. I'm creating a div and a CSS style class called container. Okay, now let's give a heading, resume text extractor. All right. Now to send data from an HTML form, you must use ntype multipart / form data because it is the only encoding that can handle both text fields and binary content. This is Ginger 2 templating. Here I'll just display the errors. And below that we have another Ginger 2 templating. On this div, I'll display all the extracted text from the resume uploaded. Alright, we are done with the HTML templating. Now let's start with our app.py, the backend logic. This is the main Flask application file. Let's start importing all the required libraries. This line imports tools from Flask framework to build a web application. Flask is the main object that runs the web application. Render_template is used to display HTML pages to the user. Request lets you access data sent by the user, such as uploaded file or form submission. JSONify helps turn Python data into a standard JSON format for web APIs. Import PyPDF2. This library is used to read and extract data from PDF files. From DOCX import document. This library helps you open and get text from Microsoft Word documents. Import IO. This module is to handle input and output. We use io.bytes.io to handle uploaded file in memory without having to save them to a physical disk, which is more secure and efficient. I'm going to initialize the app now. Now let's create a list to store all the file extensions we'll allow for uploads. This is where we specify that only PDF and DOCX file are permitted. Before start writing the code to extract text, let's first create a function to check uploaded files extension. We are going to check if the file name has a dot. Let's add a backslash to break this statement into 2 lines. Now let's right split the file name, which is kind of a reverse split, meaning splitting it from the end and converting the last word after dot to lowercase, which is the extension into lowercase. And check if the extension is in the list allowed extensions. Now I'll add a return statement because we are going to return true or false. In short, this function returns true if the file has an extension like .pdf and that extension is allowed. Otherwise, returns false and the file won't be accepted. Alright, now I'm going to create a function to extract text from a PDF file. I'm just adding a doc string here, which is a brief description of what the function does. It helps explain the function's purpose to other developers and can be accessed with help function in Python. This variable will be used to store all the extracted text as we go through the PDF. Alright, now let's create a try and except block, which is crucial for error handling. It tells Python to attempt the code within the block and if an error occurs, not to crush the program, but instead execute the code in the except block. Inside try block, this line used the py-pdf2 library to create a PDF reader object. This object is what I'll use to access the content of the PDF file. The for loop will iterate through each page of the PDF. Inside the loop, this line does the actual text extraction to get the text from the current page and add it to the text variable. The except block. This block is executed if an error occurs within the try block. Exception is a general type of error and E is a variable that holds the specific error message. If an error occurs, this line prints a descriptive error message to console for debugging purpose. And we are also assigning the error text to our text variable so that we can return as an error. Finally, the function returns the value of the text variable, which will either be extracted content of the PDF or an error message. Okay, now let's create a function to extract text from document files. This function is designed to extract text from Microsoft Word files. It is same as the function for the PDF file. It works by opening the file, looping through each paragraph, and appending the text to a single string. Now for this project, our user interface will be a single HTML page, which is index.html, which will be rendered when a user visits the root URL of our application. So here I'm going to create a route for our root URL and a function to handle the logic for both displaying the page and processing the file uploads. Alright, so the logic for this function is not that complicated. Here we have a variable called extracted text, which will finally have the text from the uploaded files. For now it is none. Here I am checking if the method is post. So if the file is not in the request.files, I'm just returning an error message which will be displayed on the index.html file. Else I'm just storing a reference to that file in the request to our local file variable, which is this. And here we'll check if the file name is not empty. If it is empty, I'm just passing an error message saying no file selected. If the file exists and the extension of that file is allowed, then I'm just getting the file name and reverse splitting the file name like we did before and converting the extension to lowercase. And I'm using bytes.io object to read the file into our file stream variable. What is bytes.io? io.bytes.io is a powerful tool in Python that lets you treat binary data in memory, just like physical file on a disk. It is essentially a virtual file that exists on your computer's RAM. Instead of needing a file to save to your hard drive and then opening it, you can use bytes.io to read and write bytes directly in memory. It is especially useful when handling uploaded files and manipulating binary data. Right, and now we have the file extensions for the uploaded file. So if the extension of the uploaded file is PDF, I'm going to call the extract text from PDF file function. If the extension is DOCX, I'm going to call the extract text from DOCX function. Else, I'll just say unsupported file type. Also, if the file extension is neither PDF nor DOCX, I'm just returning a message which says invalid file type. Please upload a PDF or a DOCX file. And finally, returning the rendered template, that is index.html, and setting the extracted text variable to the extracted text from the function. Now let's write the code to execute the project. Alright, now it is time to test our application. Okay, so this is a small error. Seems like I missed the array or did not mention the position of the extension. Yeah, in the allowed file, so I'll just mention that. Alright, so here is the extracted text from our docx file. I've created a simple resume of mine, copied from the internet and just uploaded the file. So you can see the extracted text here in the extracted text section. Now let's upload a PDF format file and see if our application is able to extract the data or the text from that file as well. Okay, so we have an error which says error while extracting text from PDF UTF-16-B. Okay, I think I know what is the issue here. We may have to import one more libraries for the PDF upload. So let's do that. Before that, we have to install a library which is pymupdf. So let's pip install it. Alright, the library is installed. Now let's import the fetch library in our program. So in the function where we are extracting the text from PDF file, right here we have to make some code changes. So instead of this line creating a PDF document object, let's use with fetch.open and read the file as doc. Loop through all the pages in the doc and get the text using get_text function. Okay, that's it. Okay, now let's execute the application one more time. Uploading a PDF file, and there it is. We have the output for the PDF file as well. Thanks for joining me in this first video. We have successfully set up the foundation for our project getting our text extraction working for both PDF and DOCX file. In the next video, we are going to deep dive into the core of our AI application, which is keyword matching. We'll learn how to compare skills from a job description against the extracted text from our resume. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Let me know in the comments if you have run into any issues or have any questions. I'll see you in the next one.